So as we move through these journeys, we're all very, I'll say, influenced by energies, by from the environment we're in, the people we live with, the galaxies we rotate around in. And so in this episode, and starting every month, we're going to have an amazing first episode with Chiron Yeng, who's an evolutionary astrologer. We're going to call him our in-house astrologer. So hey, welcome, Chiron.
Hey, welcome. Thanks for inviting me here. Great to be in this space again.
Oh, it's always so good to be with
Yeah,
you.
great to see you, Chiron.
Even if we're
Yeah,
not right, in the same area, same right place, we're feeling it, right?
Miracles of
totally.
technology. You're all the way on the other side of the world, and it's like you're in the next room or right next
hmm
to us.
It's so true. That's so true. And I'm so touched by the fact that when I was in the States, you guys drove like 8 hours just to come and connect with me. And that's such a beautiful soul connection that we have. And I truly appreciate this, this relationship that we have, this friendship. It's precious.
Us too. Infinite love and gratitude. Absolutely.
And the love and gratitude. Yeah.
So, this episode is going to be on for July 2024. And for anybody listening in the future, you can always tune back in because what I was thinking about, it's so cool to look back and regroup and reflect on what happened in that month. Maybe if you go down into the fall and you go, dang, what happened in July? Something big. You can go back and listen and you can get some tuned in and kind of get some regrouping on what energies were influencing you during that time frame. So let's dive in, Chiron. Let's start with the bigger, I'll say macro picture of like the sun and what's shifting and what are we all going to start feeling as we move into the best month of the year. Sorry, Tom. Tom is February. July, because Chiron and I both are Leos and we both have, birthdays in July. So it's a great month to have this session for sure as the number one.
Yep, this is
Yeah.
one of those episodes where there's truth in all things, but not one thing has all the truth. That's what I
I
say.
like that. That's amazing, Tom.
Yep.
Great perspective. Yeah. I'm going to start with a macro picture because astrology is really a study of seasons, cycles, and changes. And I want to give a perspective or an image for people to take away is that imagine that this whole universe and its orbits of the planets is just like a huge, massive clock in the sky. Right? So what's happening this year? I felt like this year, after we're halfway there so fast, right? And it's like moments and moments of extremes. I don't know if you guys have felt that. And I'll say July is like finally a time we get to have a break. We finally have to like, okay, in April we had that fire energy, Aries eclipses. It's like radical changes and stepping into your own expression of your individuality and stepping in and taking risks. And then it shifts into many planets in Taurus, where you're trying to integrate all that energy and materialize, get things practical, merging the spiritual and the material. And then after that, in June, we had this massive shift. Everything moved to Gemini, where we get this explosion of network connections, extreme learning, and it really, really stretched our mind. And I'll say we have not really had a chance to go like, when do we get to integrate all of this? So July, when the time of Cancer, right? The planets Cancer, we have 3 planets in Cancer at the time: Sun, Venus, and Mercury. On top of that, we have, Saturn and Neptune in Pisces. That means we have 5 planets in the water. And water element in astrology is really about integrating so that you deepen your experience, you allow everything to sink in so that all these energies, growth, expansion is a new norm. It becomes an embodiment of who you are. So it's definitely a more feminine month until the end of the month of July.
I was going to say, because then we come into Leo season and then it
Yeah,
shifts a little bit perhaps.
it shifts a lot because August is intense and the ending of July we're gonna start feeling a little bit of more of that energy of like okay, what am I here to give? What am I here to create and serve and give? Place of servitude. Most people think that Leo is really all about, it's all about me, but no, Leo is all about everybody because the sun is not biased, right? It shines everywhere. So Leos need to learn how to shine on others, not on yourself. But
Right.
in
And
order
also,
to do that, you have to shine, you have to allow yourself to shine.
Because also with the in looking at a birth chart, if someone doesn't have a birth chart, you can go online and get a birth chart, or you can just connect with Chiron and get your whole birth chart and everything done, right? So you can find out where Leo shows up in your chart, as well as where Cancer does too.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah. So what's interesting about this month is that as we are moving into it, we're also moving into a new energy. And so the energy of July with the energy calendars that Tom and I have been working with for, gosh, I mean, I've been working with about 5 or 6 years now, and he's been working for decades with. It's the key word of ease.
EASE, ease, as in easy.
Ease. And
that really fits with what you just shared. But that change in energy. And this came from spirit, from the higher spirit. We prepare these every year. They come out in September, which is the beginning of the spiritual year, for how we work with it. And it's called, they're still calling it LFN?
Yep, mm-hmm.
Okay, LFN calendars, La Familia Nuestra, our new family. So suggestions. For
these are
keywords. Additional keywords to give you the feeling of what we're talking about is, first, again, I'll say the major concept influencing this month is ease. Ease. It's funny because I've been getting the keyword easy from my guidance lately. And just remember, whatever I'm doing, it's easy, it's easy. So here's some suggestions. Assist, secure, contentment, enjoyment, and mastery. And the theme of the spiritual year is free flowing. So ease in the month of July fits with free flowing. And what you can do is you can take your spiritual thrust or get your own keywords from your guidance and write a keyword sentence that includes those few words, to round out your picture.
So what do you think about that with the keyword of ease being for July?
Even before this session that we came up to talk about it, I have been playing with the word enjoy, right? I have my own guidance, as you guys have known, with me and worked with me before, when I went to your place and you showed me that I'm a visionary, and I had this big word just comes out on my head. It's like, enjoy, Chiron, enjoy. So I was like teaching my group of people, my community and my friends, it's like, how can you shift from effort to enjoy? The thing is, when you enjoy something, you still put effort into it, right?
Yeah.
But the intention behind it is softer. It's like you allow free flowing to happen. But when you think about the word effort, because we're so conditioned, it feels like we are already preparing for the worst outcome. That means we need to work harder. There's some scarcity mindset behind it. There's some sense of like fear of like missing out, or like, got to get things prepared for the rainy season to come. So it definitely resonates with me because there's something really profound happening in the middle of the month in July, which is Mars-Uranus conjunction in the sign of Taurus. At the same time, the moon in Scorpio is opposing it. And that's on 15th July or 16th July, depending where you're on, which part of the Earth you are at. And basically, when Mars Uranus comes together, it's this feeling like, oh my God, I need to upgrade and create progress because I've been so stuck and stagnant, right? So in July, in the beginning, we could feel the Cancerian vibe. I don't want to do things. I just want to lie in bed and I just want to integrate. Yeah, it makes sense. But when the Mars hits Uranus, you're going to go like, all right, I got to get out and do something about it. Now, here's the thing. Uranus brings insights. Uranus brings perspective. That means new insights, new spiritual guidance, new realization of what is it about your old stuff, the way that you have been operating, your habits that has been limiting you. This includes your beliefs. This includes your behavior, the way you make choices on repeat, on autopilot. So on 15 and 16 July, it's going to feel like we get hit by lightning. And I, as an astrologer, I don't suggest that we wait for the lightning to strike us. I'll say, yeah, enjoy, be in the bed, do what you need to do to take care of yourself. But at the same time, don't get complacent. Don't get complacent. Allow yourself to slow down your pace, but at the same time, just keep showing up. You see, now we are playing with the polarity of like, are we putting too much effort, or are we just, just playing? And why can't it be both? Why can't we integrate both? I think that's what ease means for me. It means that I have enough self-trust in myself. When I have enough self-trust in myself, I trust the universe to flow exactly what it needs to be, tying to the yearly theme that you guys have mentioned, free flowing.
The I would so relate to what you're sharing about, because when I get involved in other businesses and other work, the reason I like that keyword easy is it reminds me that I don't have to add any extra pressure. Like, okay, this is business. I've got to work hard. It's got to be hard, or I've got to keep working and work through my breaks and all those, rather than being more aligned with, I have a lot of experience and what to do next just can come to me, especially when I'm in action. Once I have a basic plan, as I fill in the gaps with the facts and, get the situation. So my experience is very similar to what you were, sharing.
Yeah.
Can I share? You want to share some?
Yeah. So it's interesting because for myself, so I have a Cancer ascendant and I've got Mars and Mercury conjunct in Cancer. So
Oh, yes, you do.
I do. And so I'm very affected or influenced, I'll say. I like that word influence versus affected, influenced by the energy of Cancer. And so I can get very complacent sometimes and relaxed and too chill. So for myself, and that's why I always like every year when I usually have my birthday, I'd like to have a solar return or, a chart done, right? So I kind of know what's the influences of the next year coming up, because for myself through astrology is understanding on certain days when in like this, Mars Uranus energy, that's what you said, Mars Uranus, right?
Yep.
Yeah. When that's coming to connect on the 15th and 16th, depending upon where you're at in the planet, it gives me, I understand that when that time comes, that like when I start feeling that, because I'm so sensitive, that I'll be able to understand a bigger picture of why I'm feeling what I'm feeling and how to work with that energy for myself. So that's why I love, working with astrology as well as working with the calendars. And Tom, do you want to share what the energy of 15th to 16th is?
Sure.
Oh, yeah,
I
do
mean,
that.
it was interesting because when you opened up with the month of July being a little bit more lower key or more relaxed, that the first few days are friendship energy. And within the calendars that we work with, there's a hierarchy of energy where the energy accelerates. And the lowest, sort of the most relaxed one, is family. The next is friendships. So it's down there. Then regrouping hour, orientation, direction, ambition, and action. And so I don't expect anyone to remember all that.
Well, that's why we did an episode before this around the calendar.
Yeah.
So.
But just to remind, to relate to what you shared earlier in the month, was that friendship, it opens up with kind of a lighter energy, is our way of sharing what's showing up in the planets. And then the next few days you go into direction energy.
So the 15th and 16th is ambition. Talk about ambition.
Yeah. So as
no
we're
way.
jumping ahead a little bit, and we go to ambition energy, which is all about your wants and inner desires, a feeling of commitment, doing more, and future inspirations. And ambition is the second sort of most accelerating energy. Action's at the other end of the spectrum. So it's interesting. And directions right coming up next on the 18th. And so that's very similar. That whole week is very much the way you described it from the perspective of the planets. Well, at least we can start exploring how it all kind of connects. But independently, you are sharing the same thing, because we know you haven't seen this particular calendar yet.
Or
Nope,
this
I
month.
have not
Or
seen
you've
it.
seen it before,
Yeah.
but not this month.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've known about it, but definitely I don't know about the energies of this month based on your calendar. And I'd like
Yeah.
to add something. What's happening on the 15th and the 16th is that Mercury, which is our logistical mind, rational mind, the planner, is squaring the planet of
Oh.
Mars Uranus at the same time. So if Mercury is the lower mind, basically the day to day, our intellect, then Uranus is the higher mind. So
Interesting.
it's definitely an elevation of speed, and it's like, remembering what happened in May again, when Jupiter, Mercury, the Sun, Venus was all in Gemini, the expansion of learning. This is when you start seeing, oh, I've heard about this before, and now I see it happening in my life. Now I get to experience it as a direct experience. Now a concept of something that you learn, it's no longer a concept. It's a direct experience.
Mm.
So July can be a time where you're just experiencing what you're learning. And even though it's ease, that's the invitation. That it's not
Right.
necessarily what everybody is feeling, right? Because we can feel really, oh my God, nothing's happening. Did I do something wrong? Oh my God, the anxiety kick in. I got to do something. That's the energy that could flip on the other side with this transit.
I like that you said that, because it really does depend upon where each person's at in their journey, and energetically where they're at also, as far as how how each person is going to feel by the planetary influence, by the influence of the these 7 types of energies that we work with that come on the planet. So it's individual. So like you're saying, yeah, I mean, like someone might come into the first part of July, like feeling like like they've been run over by a truck, because of the fact that maybe their energy is not quite in order, or it's just in a different place. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Totally.
interestingly enough, it says each of these energies will influence you differently based on your own unique energy patterns.
There you go.
By discerning and being aware of your experiences through each energy unit, you can better understand how to deal with it as it flows through again. And I've noticed that when the various energies come in, like usually with friendship, I'm still doing the same things, but I noticed that it's a little easier. Like I might be working with some business colleagues, and it's a great time to meet new people and just kind of be a bit more relaxed when we're having a quick chat over a coffee or something, about business. And then I notice in ambition, in the middle of the month, if I'm aware that I'm in that energy, I'm just more open to the ideas that come my way. Or if a little flash of inspiration hits me, I make a note of that. And one of the key things is not trying to do something in the wrong energy. So if I'm in a more accelerated energy, like ambition or direction, it's a time to be moving. It's a time to be, in business or moving forward with your plans. So there you go.
Cool. So let's talk a little bit about the sun. So everyone likes to always talk about their, where their sun is when they're born, right?
Yep.
And so what day does the sun move into Leo in July?
It moves in July 22nd, if I'm not mistaken.
July 22nd.
July 22nd. Okay.
Yeah.
Because to me that, it's really interesting. I wanted to mention this too, Chiron, because recently I don't know what I was listening to, because I listened to a couple, how we all are, like different things and people, but
Yeah.
they were talking about, how like everything's obviously conscious. And the person or whatever I was listening to was talking about how like even the sun has a consciousness, and the sun has a soul, like every planet does, right? And so I would like you to just touch a little bit about the the sun in our chart, because I know that a lot of astrologers, and I don't even go there with like all the sun, the sun things that you can read about. They're all just so, to me, vanilla, right? I mean, they're not really. That's what I'll say. I mean,
It's pop astrology, right?
that's it, pop astrology. When it's like
Yeah.
there's more to it than just that. So I'd like your perspective on the sun, and then that moving into Leo from Cancer to
Right.
Leo.
Right. So your sun is your life force. It's your creative energy. And it also represents what you're giving and serving the world with something that is innate inside of you. When I think about the sun, I think about entelechy. This word is a Greek word, right? And entelechy really means that an unrealized potential of a seed, and you're here to actualize it. So you're drawn to it. in my studies in astrology, I see a lot of people in the beginning of their life, before they have a lot of experiences, they basically could not embody their sun sign. They could not. That means there needs to be some work, but everything in their life, they're going to be so drawn to the energy of that sun sign.
Mm.
And so there'll be some fear, be some blocks of your unconscious telling that you're not supposed to be your sun sign, right? I mean, right away, I'm sure many of us, especially this can be seen especially in the fire sign, right? And especially in women. We live in a society where you're conditioned, you're not allowed to stand up for yourself, fight or be loud or be, because if you do that, you'd be obnoxious, you'd be this and that, and you couldn't stand for your rights or whatever, right? And so they grew up believing that they're not supposed to shine. They're not supposed to be aggressive and fight for something that is meaningful for them, or be expressive, to be on stage in a way that is fierce and powerful, right? So a lot of this sun energy needs to be developed over the years, and I usually see people in their later years, they'll start embodying the sun sign. And it's funny because what we lack is what we need to give. So let's just take Leo for an example, right? The reason why we want to shine is because we lack this sense of acknowledgement and respect from people. But what we really need to do in order to receive acknowledgement and embody respect is to give other people acknowledgement and respect and love and creativity. So the sun sign in your chart is about shining on others so that you could be the sun. It's not being in the limelight. It's kind of like a twist there, right? Right. So as the sun moves quietly, from Cancer to Leo, it's always a huge transition there. And most people think that Cancer is weak, right? Vulnerable. That's usually the pop astrology. They think what Cancer is about, but actually Cancer is an embodiment of who they are. Someone who is Cancer, has a lot of Cancer planets, knows their needs. They're the most authentic people in the world. They just don't show it. They're just introverts, right? So this shift of like in Cancer in the early parts of July, figure out what you need so that you could get to the next level of your success. Because what you need now and what you needed before is different. You're playing a different game. You're changing, so you need different things. That means you need to let go certain things. Then as we step into Leo, it's about, okay, you're safe now. You have what you need. Go create. Go play. It's in the playing that you find your purpose. It's not in the thinking. It's not in doing your vision board. It's actually being out there somewhere, serving others, that your purpose will be revealed to you. But of course, with astrology, I have to see your whole chart. I could just straight away tell you which direction to go without getting lost.
Wow, that was a really good description of the sun that makes sense. Absolutely. And I'm thinking of like Tom, who is opposing us because he's an Aquarius sun.
Always the best to have an opposing sun to be in partnership.
Because when I'm trying to shine and radiate, so I see it like I'm a lighthouse, like, right, shining the light out versus shining on me. So when I'm shining out my Leo to him, and he's shining out his Aquarius to me.
Yeah, Leo rules the heart and Aquarius rules the mind. But it's very interesting. But it's so interesting in the sense that the person who is Leo sometimes will lose their heart, can be so much in their head. And then they need the Aquarius to show them perspectives so that they can come back to their heart.
Interesting, right? Yeah.
And for the Aquarius, sometimes they can forget their ability to see insights because they're not connected to their heart. They don't want to be on stage. They want to hide, right? They rather, direct rather than being the actor or the actress to be on stage, to be seen. So the Leo encourages, the Aquarian to come down from the higher minds back to their heart so that their mind can go even further. The brilliance will come true. So it's always about balancing, and it's a beautiful combination and partnership that you two have. Fun fact: both my dad and my mom is Leo Aquarius.
No way. Which one's a
Yeah.
Leo?
My dad's a Leo. I'm a Leo, right? And then my mom's Aquarius, and we're
Good
directly
kid.
opposite. Her birthday's in early January, so I'm early July, and my dad's in August.
Wow, that is something. That's super cool. What do you have to say about that, Tom?
Wow. Super cool.
As an Aquarius, what do you have to say about it's Aquarian sun? Not that's only a piece of your
One
energy.
piece.
What struck me as you were sharing, and you might say, what I got out of that was that which struck a chord with me was reminding myself that I have answers, that I have ability, and that yes, I can. As is probably just remember to feel, think, act, rather than get just caught up in my thinking, which is my tendency. To overanalyze something is my tendency. I would say with Teresa, her tendency is to not analyze enough, or to get, she just runs off and we're doing it, without half the stuff. So, yeah, we probably balance off each other there. But again, the key for me is, and I'm saying this for myself, is just remember there's nothing I don't know how to do or can't find out how to do or sense the direction. And I love what turns me on is going, oh, let's do it this way. Let's really, navigate, not necessarily the way other people think we should navigate it or what's been traditional, but find the new ways of moving through opportunities and situations, new solutions. But I can get caught in the old solutions, not forgetting to go there unless I'm in my feelings. Is how I relate to what you were saying. I appreciate you sharing that about Aquarians.
Yeah, Aquarians need to play more and not take themselves too seriously, and that's when the brilliance of their insights will shine through.
Love it.
I notice that's when it happens. Yeah.
Exactly.
So that's a whole other season.
When you have ease, it comes true.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's what I like about astrology, and also, some of the energy calendar things that we work with is that it's an invitation, right, Chiron? Like, this is all an invitation.
Totally. I'm just wondering right now what's happening on July 22nd, because we have a Sun-Pluto opposition.
Okay, tell them what's happened. What energy?
Okay, we're into regrouping hour. Or regrouping. And regrouping hour is a time of consolidation and putting things together before moving on. Finding out exactly where you are so you know where you are going. Learning or gaining insight through your experiences. Another way of saying it is some of the key words or phrases to help remember it is regrouping, consolidation time, gaining insights, and learning from your experiences. And the way that I notice I experience regrouping energy is it's a time to kind of slow down and go, okay, where am I at? It's the third sort of most accelerating energy. So it's not as relaxed, you might say, as family or friendships, but it is a time where, I noticed that not a lot of, in business, like a lot doesn't happen. It's amazing. I've looked at these calendars over the years and worked with them in business, and just been aware that, I won't hear from clients during regrouping hour energy or during that regrouping energy. But then you move into action, all of a sudden the orders and the invoices and the decisions are made, and people are calling or talking to me. That's probably my favorite example.
So with regrouping energy, you said what's the transit on the 22nd?
Yeah.
Sun-Pluto opposition.
Okay, so share a little bit about that.
So it's like July 21st, we have the final full moon. I think it's a 29 degrees Cancer Capricorn full moon, which is very close to Pluto in 1 degree Aquarius or 0 degrees Aquarius. So when the sun, when the moon crosses that, and then the sun moves into Leo, right? So when anything with Pluto involved, it's really about feeling that doubt, feeling that weakness, feeling that maybe you're disempowered and you don't know if your, path forward is something that is the right way. So that can happen, especially when the moon is there. We could be very emotional, and because we don't like to feel emotions, we will go to our head and we start overthinking, over planning, over committing. So I'll say, just adding this on as another piece of information and layer to regrouping. Don't make major decisions that day. Hold back a little bit and really review and reflect. Where did you win and where did you lose or fail, which you really don't if you learn it. So anything within a position is always an opportunity to learn. And with Pluto is really about re-empowerment. That means letting go of false limiting beliefs that comes from your society, community, because it's in Aquarius, friends, so that you can really be yourself and own your power. On top
I'll have
of
to look.
that, Mercury is in the shadow period, meaning it's going to turn retrograde into the early week of August. So at the end of July, again, the energy is waning again, not in a bad way, but it's more in a reflective way. And I'll add a point, just because the energy is low, that does not mean there's no progress. It's just progress in a different way.
Yeah, I can relate to that. And especially what you're saying about like the slowing down or the reflecting. That's what regrouping energy is all about. And we have it actually from the 21st to the 24th of July.
Interesting.
So there's like a nice window there of time just to kind of reflect and see where things are at. And what I'm really getting out of all this, honestly, is to be in action. So no matter where we're at in the whole month of July, it's like if I'm in action and I'm moving with the flow of the planetary energies that I'm being influenced by, or the energies of this calendar that we work with, then I can really maneuver through and take the breaks when I need them, be more in action when the time's right, and access the energies at the right timing for myself.
Yeah, what I found is that there's no written rules, in a sense, of how I'm going to experience those energies at that particular time, like regrouping hour. But I do notice that I'll go, oh, yeah, and insights will come to me at that time. But I can't seem to force things. But it's not to say that somebody wouldn't give me an order in regrouping hour. They finally regrouped and they've decided what they want to do next. You might say in business or something. But wait, one of the things too is that regrouping sometimes. I notice that I'll seem kind of sleepy or want to just lay about. But also it's really good to go like work on a physical project where I'm not thinking too much, where I'm just like working out in the fields or doing something that I'm in action. That's what you reminded me of, Teresa, when you said, I'm still involved in life. I guess that would be the word I might use to say that, as long as I'm involved, I'll notice that I don't have to be laying down and meditating that 4 days because I'm in regrouping energy. Sometimes the best way to meditate is to, be involved and go cut the grass or, work on that fence post or something like that. Not that I have any fence posts to work on. Gardening,
Yeah. And I want to
something
speak to
physical.
this. I want to speak to this concept called receptivity.
Okay.
Right? Because that is connect to ease in a sense. And to me, receptivity is the balance or the connection or the integration of being active and passive at the same time. Sorry, one moment.
Yeah, no worries.
Right. So receptivity is really not passive at all. It's not in denial. You're not avoiding anything. And I love what you say, Tom, about being involved. And that is the sun sign. The sun sign is about your active participation in the world. How do you participate? If you participate like a Leo, participate like Tom, and then Aquarius, showering us with beautiful insights that opens up our mind to new possibilities. That's what Aquarius is supposed to be doing. And Leo giving you that courage, that inspiration to be charismatic, right? To show up, and just by telling and expressing your story. And even in the sign of Cancer, is really about nurturing. What are you nurturing? What are you growing? It needs to be in a place of rhythm, right? And for us to be in a place of rhythm, is just like dance. You need to be receptive to the music, to your partner, to your own moves, to your breath, to all that's going on. And it's so beautiful because when you are connected to yourself and involve yourself in something, you will know intuitively what's next. And like
Mm.
Tom said, it's not about having these rules. Oh, what should I do? Tip number 1, number 2, number 3. Instead, whatever you guys hear and listen, take this as an inspiration and turn within. Right? We heard Tom's answer, we heard Chiron's answer, we heard Teresa's answer. But what is your answer? What is your
Right.
take to this? And how can you take all this information and apply it in your own life, contemplate in it, and really feel into your guidance, your energy, and your intuition to know what's next?
Well said, Chiron. That's a great place to end this because I think we've given enough fodder, so to speak, for the month of July. And so let's just, give gratitude for, our teamwork today and for sharing this information out to all the listeners in the world. And hoping, like Chiron just said, that, you gain some insights for yourself in different parts of the month and what's going on and the different energies. And if you need some support, you can definitely connect with Chiron because he does astrology readings. He also has an amazing, well, he has a couple things. I'll tell you what he does. He has, because I do know, he's got a beautiful weekly astrology on YouTube, which I could definitely put the link below, that you can, every week he talks about what's going on astrologically and how it may support you or, be influencing you. He also offers Heart Quest, which is a weekly amazing session, about an hour and a half session to connect with yourself and to really shift some of the concepts and beliefs you have around what's going on with you. And it's a collective endeavor, so it's fabulous. And then for us too, you can connect with the calendars, and we'll have that link below too. And you can also check out the previous episode, the last episode in June, which we go into details and in depth about the energy of the calendars, how they influence us, and how to work with them. So there is some really great support for you guys out there if you're looking for additional support. And I'll do one last round of. Would you like to say one last thing, Chiron, before we end?
Oh yes, please read Teresa's book, Soul Quake. We all go
Oh,
through Soul Quake all this while through all these different energies. It's like Soul Quake one after another. So great tips in there. I really highly recommend people look into it. And sometimes you don't have to read the whole book. Just flip into a certain page and let that guidance guide you, and just read that page and see how that resonates with you. Those are great.
Reinforce your spiritual structures by reading Soul Quake so you can avoid the Soul Quake.
anything you want to say, Tom?
Yeah, and with this plethora of information, one of the things that always strikes me is that it's like I don't have to worry about everything that someone just shared, just what key hit me at that point. What were the key phrase, something someone said, and that keeps it simple. And that's what I hear you saying too, Chiron. So
Yeah, and
Yes,
so with
keep it
that,
simple.
absolutely keeping it simple, and also coming home to yourself, which is a memoir that Chiron wrote this year, which is brilliant. So that's another accessible item to put into your beautiful toolbox also. And I'll have the link down below. So all the links will be in the show notes, everyone. But I just want to give a great thanks to these beautiful Aquarian and Leo brothers that I have with me today.
and if people want to learn how to work with their guidance, please check the show notes below and click the link.
So thank you
Infinite
guys.
love
I
and
appreciate it. It's
gratitude.
been wonderful.
Yeah, thank you.
And we'll hopefully do it again next month.
But remember,
Oh, yeah, remember,
life is too short to not be enthusiastic about your unique journey.
To keep the enthusiasm going, please like, subscribe, or comment below. We would love to hear from you.